Brian here with you on KRCB Radio 91, and I'm very pleased to be joined in the studio this morning by Ray Wylie Hubbard, all the way from Texas. How you doing?
I am doing great. Glad to be back out here. This is always such a great area to play, and so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, people seem to like you out here.
They need to raise their standards. No, there's a whole kind of the whole joint venture from the Austin and San Francisco and Northern California from back in the old days.
Oh, yeah.
From the Armadillo, with all the 13th floor elevators came out here, and Janis Joplin, and then of course Commander Cody and Sleep at the Wheel would come to Austin. So there's kind of a bond between Northern California and Austin.
And you're pals with our neighbor Ramblin' Jack.
Oh yeah, I am. I've known him for way too long.
Yeah, I had a daughter of a friend of mine who was staying with me while she was taking some classes, and we went to see Ramblin' Jack, and she'd never heard of him before.
Yeah. And
we saw the show, and we're walking back to my place, and she goes, "Now I know why they call him Ramblin' Jack. It has nothing to do with him moving around."
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I saw him, I think, the first time they were in Dallas at a little club called the Rubaiyat. In 68, 69, somewhere in there. I was just barely, probably 18 or 19. He showed up and he walked out on the stage. He goes, "I'm sorry I'm late. I just flew in on a crop duster." and I believed him.
Yeah. You do believe what he says, He makes it sound so true.
It could have been,
I'm a big fan. You've had an interesting arc of a career, and one thing that I admire about you is that when the record companies would screw with you, you started your own record company, like back in the 80s, didn't you?
Yeah, I had, it was, I feel very fortunate. I started off in folk music, went to high school there in Dallas with Michael Murphy, and B.W. Stevenson and Larry Gross, who has Mountain Stage on NPR. And I got into folk music, but I never could really, get into the business. I'd always been kind of never, mainstream, and always kind of been doing, there was wrote Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mothers, an answer to Fighting Inside of Me, So I was more in the way out of it, and so I never did really get into the music business. But then I got clean and sober in '87 with the help of Stevie Ray and some other people, and wanted to try to be like a real songwriter. So I kind of started getting back to what I really wanted to do, and it's kind of made a commitment that I was going to write. Not writing for a publishing company, not try to give write because I had to give them 12 songs a year, or write to try to get somebody to record them. I was just going to write gnarly old cool songs.
Yeah, and your wife Judy had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, my wife Judy. I tell people if it wasn't for Judy, I'd have everything I own in a shoebox.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking for a happy hour gig. But she says that thing of I can't recommend this for everybody, but I do sleep with the president of my record label, which isn't Clive Davis, it's Judy. And so she says, you write about whatever you want to write about, and you make the records you want to make. She said, then I'll try to, sell the things. And so that's a good, as a writer, that way I can write about, whatever I want to write about.
Yeah.
Snake farms, or, to tell a fable of the book of Genesis, why snakes don't walk and talk anymore.
Right.
So I have a. That's a good place for me to be as a writer, since I've never written trying to
please somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wrote your autobiography.
Yeah, it's called. I got to do it with a punctuation.
I know this is. I love this.
It's a life ... well, live. So you go a life well lived.
Yeah.
and so. But I've always, my father was an English teacher, so as a child, when I was a little kid, he wouldn't read me Three Little Pigs, he'd read me The Raven,
yeah.
And so I got into literature real early, we'd have talk around the table, he'd give me Last of the Mohicans or A Tale of Two Cities to read this. We're going to talk about it this weekend.
Did you develop a love of reading from your father?
Yeah, I still read a lot, so that's what I'm doing a lot, and so... I feel very fortunate that, like I said, then I got involved with folk music in high school, where the lyrics were really important to me. So like I say, I feel very fortunate, Old Cats, being able to just kind of write about what I want to write about.
And then Jerry Jeff picks up against the wall and changes everything.
Yeah, and I got a middle name. I was Ray Hubbard folk singer up to then, and then they on Beaver Tilingua, they said this song is about Ray Wylie Hubbard, and there you go.
There you go. It started it all, good and bad.
Good and bad, yes.
The new album, Tell the Devil, I'm getting there as fast as I can. There are a lot of references on this album to good and evil, to God and the devil, to heaven and hell.
They're a lot more, they're very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, And so, yeah, I'm kind of, as I mentioned, I got clean and sober when I was in 87. I was 41, and
you're about to turn 70, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Well, I'd say 71, I think.
71?
About 13 days.
Congratulations.
So,
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I didn't become a teenager until I was about 40. But, so, I prefer the term spiritual awakening to religious conversion, and so I don't follow, one particular dogma or any of that, but I do try to live on certain principles that seem to work for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
You found
but as far as writing, I really enjoy being able to write about, write about that.
Yeah. Do you want to do a tune for us?
Yeah, let me do the title track, which is Tell the Devil That I'm Getting There as Fast as I Can, which is, I mentioned before, it's hopefully a metaphor for, time going pretty fast rather than a prophecy.
Ray Wylie Hubbard, live in the studio. Oh, introduce your friend, your cohort.
I've got Kyle Snyder, who's my drummer. He's here with about 4 or 5 tambourines, and he lays down the groove. And then my son Lucas is traveling this tour on guitar, but he's probably out there changing strings. So he plays one of those, damned old electric guitars, So
those newfangled.
Yeah, those newfangled electric guitars. So so it's just Kyle and I doing this. But this is the title track. Screaming in a mic, playing a strat through a Vox AC30. Gives a troublesome back and a ringing in her ears. My last band covered the Clash, the Kinks and the Replacements. Seems my soul is as misspent as my years. Now I got a Princeton reverb, it's in an old Anvil case. It's in the back of a Ford Econoline. And it's a 6-hour drive to Austin and the Continental Club. I gotta change the strings on my ES 335. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can. Playing a sunburst Gibson in an alt-country band. And loving a woman who can out-cuss any man. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can. I met her in L.A. We was opening for Sunvolt. She had eyes mascaraed like Eva Green's. She sparkled with wildness like the blue yonder. She'd done a time in darkness and was 2 years clean. She wears an old leather jacket, and it was made by Irish saints, and boots engraved with skulls and thorns. She got her ink in Tulsa, but she don't like red dirt bands. Being in love with her's like living in a thunderstorm. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can. Playing a sunburst Gibson in an alt country band, and loving a woman who can outcuss any man. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can. Now the faithless live in grays and faded purples, and the gamblers never bet on 12s or 2s. The drunken poets disappear into deep shadows, and the rock and roll believers sang the Easy Rider blues. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can, playing a sunburst Gibson in an all-country band, and loving a woman who can outcuss any man. Tell the devil that I'm getting there as fast as I can.
Very nice. Ray Wylie Hubbard live in the studio here on
Thank you.
I love the recorded version of the song with Lucinda and Eric on it.
It was really, I didn't have to use guilt or shame to get them on there. I'm not above using that. But Lucinda, when we did the song, like I said, it's a rock and roll fable. It's kind of about the guy, he's just, an old rock cat, and started off playing with Vox and the Clash and the Replacements, and all of a sudden, well, I'm kind of getting older, so I'm going to play get a little smaller amp.
Yeah.
And so then I started thinking, like, boy, the second verse is about the woman he loves that can outcuss any man, how kind of cool she is. And I said, it would be nice to have a female woman vocal doing that, kind of like doing a, drunk Keith Richards harmony. And Lucinda, she just has that swirl about her voice, and it's so unique. So I said, yeah, would you sing on this? She said, sure. And then Eric Church had name dropped me in a song called Mr. Misunderstood. And I don't really, follow that much of the Nashville country. I have no idea what's happening up there. But somebody said he name dropped you in a song. So through his T-shirt guy, I got in touch with his manager and said, I wrote this song, and you think Eric would sing on it? So we sent it to me. He said, sure. Which one of the best things about it, besides having Eric Church and Lucinda on the album, is they didn't charge me anything. That I haven't got the bill yet.
Well, since he name dropped you,
we're even on that.
Yeah, and you've known Lucinda for a long time.
A long time, yeah. She used to actually busk on the streets there in Austin. They used to have a thing there called the Armadillo
World
Christmas.
Headquarters.
Yeah, they had Armadillo World Headquarters, but they had a kind of a side thing every Christmas. They would have this bazaar where like local people would, sell tool leather bags and just incense and all this stuff. And she used to busk out there on the streets for that. That was back in the late 60s, I guess,
wow.
The 70s. And so known her for a while.
Yeah. It's a great record. You produced it yourself this time.
Yeah, my friend George Reeve, who was going to do it, he got ill and passed away.
That was very sad because it seemed sudden from out here. We didn't know how sick he was.
It was pretty quick. It happened really quick, and it was really kind of one of those things. We had the record done and had 10 songs, and then one night, somewhere, I guess, my wife Judy was real cold, so I wrote this song called "In Times of Cold" about, who's going to, and so I went to George. I went by his house, and I played him the new record, and he said, "That's really good." And I said, "Well, I wrote this other song." He said, "Well, let's record it." And so I just took a guitar and a harmonica, and we just like this, just did it one time through. And then he called me about 3 or 4 days later and said, "I got a recording of that song," and I called Patty Griffin, and she came over and sang on it. So I had to put it on the record, and it just kind of dedicate the album to him.
Yeah, it's a nice little homage.
Yeah,
he was
very instrumental, and I mean, he just so played, with so many people. Chris Robinson, New Earth Mud.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went out with Joe Walsh for a while, and he recorded the Gorge record,
right.
and Shiny Ribs, and the Mastersons, and he was just one of those he's, but I asked when he was sick, I said, well, George, I need to produce it. And he goes, you know how to do it. Grit, groove, tone, and taste. That's your record,
Yeah.
And so he said, just keep it gritty and, have a good groove and good tone and taste.
Yeah.
So it was, so yeah, I produced this one,
Well, when we get done, we'll play that one going out.
Oh, okay, great, yeah, because it was a nice one.
So, back when you got sober, and you said Stevie Ray was helped you out with that,
Yeah.
because he had gotten sober not long before that.
I had about 14 months at the time.
Yeah.
He was the first cat I saw that got sober, didn't end up on the 700 Club. He still had an edge and some dirt, and he was just, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he was very instrumental there in Dallas, and because after my dad died, I was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I was a mess before that, but he and his another guy came over and said, well, this is what we did, and so he got me in recovery a lot.
But you also changed your style of playing about that time.
What happened was, like I say, I started off in folk music with Michael Murphy and B.W. Stevenson there in Dallas, and then went down into Austin, the whole folk scene with Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt and Steve Fromholtz and all these guys, and so I was always into folk music. But then after I got out of the fog, I said, well, I want to learn how to play. I'd seen Lightning Hopkins and Mance Lipscomb, and I said, that thing that they were doing. And so at age 42, I started taking guitar lessons to learn how to finger pick, kind of in that the blues thing. So for writing, now it's it's important to have lyrics but lay them on a deep groove. Mm-hmm. And so it just that's a really good place for an old cat like me to be,
Are you going to write more books?
I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. There's some stories I left out.
Yeah.
But it was the whole thing about the book. I kind of went in there and I kind of talked about kind of what happened, and after I kind of talked about songwriting, the inspiration and the craft, and removing your fear and doubt, and with the purpose of how kind of what I did, like because I'd burn the bridges I'd been sleeping under, and so, but to be able to kind of come from there to where I am today, which is I feel very fortunate that I'm, still able to write songs and travel around playing for people and do the record I want to make,
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate. So, but to answer your question, I don't know.
Yeah. You got something in there, just whether you want to get it out or if you have time,
I don't know yet. It was an interesting process, I enjoyed it, but writing sometimes it's a joy and an anguish.
Right.
You want it to be right, and so it's kind of hard to. I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's a whole different thing writing songs than writing your own story. I had Steve Earle in here a few months ago, and he's been working on his autobiography, and he hates it.
Well, it's for one thing, it doesn't have to rhyme,
Yeah.
That thing about the book, but you got to make it, I just didn't want it to be turned into like another, Motley Crue.
Yeah. But you
rock and roll.
You want to engage the reader, and
so
I'm sure that comes from, what your dad taught you.
Yeah. And so we went in there and had like real literature with some of it's punctuation and indentions and capitals, and then some of it's just kind of stream of conscious. I just go and, I have yet to. A lot of the stories I didn't write the second thing that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just went with it.
Well, I follow you on social media, and I love your Facebook posts.
I haven't been in a while. I've been busy doing this kind of other project. I've been writing songs like crazy,
Yeah.
but I'm going to get back on it.
Yeah, they're very entertaining.
I enjoy it. I have fun with it.
Now, you tweet, too?
I do. I have I do the Twitter thing.
See, I don't, because I can't be that clever in 140.
Well, it's not being, for me, it's not being that clever. It's being snarly. Just kind of make a snarly comment, and all of a sudden,
Then you got everybody.
That's what I do. I can do that in 140 characters.
Well, maybe I should think about that then. Would you do one more song for us?
Yeah, you bet. Let me see what I want to do. Okay, well, let me do an older song, okay?
Sure.
Just real quick. Since we were kind of talking about that, this is it's called "The Messenger," and this is one of the first songs I wrote. Actually, the first song I wrote when after I learned how to kind of this finger picking pattern, And let me make sure I'm in tune here. I'm wearing old boots with high Cuban heels, my soles they all worn, I withstand terrible grace. My trousers are torn, my jacket is borrowed, and I'm wearing my time behind the eyes in my face. I am not looking for loose diamonds or pretty girls with crosses around their necks. And I don't want for roses or water. I'm not looking for God here. I'm not looking for sex. I've worn out my welcome in certain small circles, in Spanish bordellos and Confederate states. But there is an angel in her leathers and kindness, and she whispers my name as she smiles at my face. I am not looking for loose diamonds or pretty girls with crosses around their necks. And I don't want for roses or water. I'm not looking for God here. I'm not looking for sex. I have a mission and a small code of honor to stand and deliver to you by whatever measures, and the message that I give you that I got from this old poet. He said our fears are like dragons guarding our most precious treasures. So I am not looking for loose diamonds here, no boys, or pretty girls with crosses around their necks. And I don't want for roses or water. I'm not looking for God, and I just want to see what's next.
Ray Wylie Hubbard live in the studio. You know, I love listening to your music because it makes me feel a little more honest.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so bless you for doing that.
Well, thank you. It's a thing that somewhere in there, you know, in my 40s when I wanted to try to be a real songwriter, somehow, I don't know what it was, but somehow I kind of got in this, somewhere in my mind that I wasn't going to write songs, like I say, for a publishing company, and I wasn't going to write songs to see if I could get anybody else to record them. I was going to see not what I could get by writing my song, but seeing what I could contribute, you know, seeing whether somebody, they smile when they hear like Snake Farm or something, or if they get a groove on it, you know, and start dancing, or maybe they'll go, oh, what is the talking about there, and so that seemed to, I'm you know, like I say, very content with being able to do that, you know, seeing what I can contribute rather than just what I can get.
Well, I hope you do it for a long, long time.
Well, I'm trying. I'm still writing songs, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad about that. So, but thank you.
Do you write
Brian.
all the time, or does it come to you?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just I don't. I'm writing a song right now with Amanda Shires, but we're doing it over
The
over a
interweb.
phone.
Yeah, Amanda was in here a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a wonderful person.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
boy, she's just first class cool.
Yeah.
So we did a show together. I said I got this idea for a song. It's kind of a woman viewpoint thing. So I sent it to her. And she said okay, and so we're back and forth trying to write that. So yeah, but to answer your question, I'm pretty much writing. Writing or reading.
Yeah.
Ray
Wylie Hubbard, the album "Tell the Devil I'm Getting There as Fast as I Can." The book is out. It's called A Life Well Lived. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you so
spending
much
some
for
time.
having us. Thank you.